every time they interfered to fact-check me, it turned out that they were wrong and Trump was right. She said thank you 38 times. And at the end it was thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, what's wrong with her? I say thank you and you wait a couple of seconds, you say thank you again. You say, come on, let's get going. Thank you one more time. She's 38 times. Thank you, thank you.
Donald Trump was already having the most disastrous week of his campaign with the worst debate performance we have ever seen in presidential history. And now a new scandal involving Laura Loomer. It couldn't get much worse for Donald Trump, but it could. Because tonight, he decided to double down on all the disaster, double down on all the crazy, and go on one of the stranger diatribe rambling speeches that we have seen from Donald Trump in a long time. And that is a high bar to get over. But somehow, Donald Trump, after this long week, still managed to save up enough crazy to really lose it on stage tonight, which was absolutely shocking, not just to me, but to the crowd, who Donald Trump stunned into silence multiple times. Because again, he just continues to unravel, and even though they are his cultists, they know when he has lost it, and that's exactly what happened tonight. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, it really goes a long way in supporting this channel and means the world to me. Now let's get into this first clip from Trump.
Sorry with that. Did she get the questions? You think? So I hear she got the questions, and I also heard she had something in the ear, a little something in the ear. No, Kamala, do this. Say it this way, Kamala. Okay, be quiet. Too many people watching.
The coping from Donald Trump over his debate loss has devolved from I won the debate to it was the moderator's fault. And now we are at rock bottom with Kamala Harris had the questions before and was wearing an earpiece. The cope is just so funny. From Donald Trump, he is so angry. I know in his heart of hearts, even if he doesn't probably have one of those, he knows that he lost this debate. It's why he's so angry. It's why he continues to talk about it. When it's front of mind with Donald Trump, you know that it's really bothering him. And this absolutely is, he just can't stop thinking about it. We saw the other day when he was at a rally in Arizona, he said, "Thank you, Pennsylvania," instead of Arizona, because he was still thinking about debate night in Philadelphia. It's the thing he can't get over. And he also can't get over the ways that Kamala Harris mocked him. And that's incredibly clear right here.
And we got Kamala.
What was that? What is he doing? Again? This is what I'm talking about. He just can't get over this anger that he has, and so he is finding new ways to lash out. And does anyone know what that weird hand movement was? If you know or have any idea, any inkling, drop a comment. Because I'm still confused what Trump was trying to do there besides just let out all of this anger and grievance that he has, but again, just can't get over the fact Donald cannot. Of how much Kamala Harris crushed him, and especially one specific attack that seems to have really gotten under his skin, which we can see right here.
Or she would say, she's weird, she's weird. You know, that was another soundbite they made up about JD and myself. No, we're solid people. We're very solid. We're very solid people. We're not weird. They're weird. How about the vice president? How about the vice president?
This was certainly one of the more rambly Trump speeches that we've seen, but he still found his way back to the straightened path of talking about the most important issues in this election, just like how annoyed he is that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz keep calling him weird. Yeah, that's definitely something that you should bring up, Donald, just how everyone thinks you're weird. Try to deny it. That'll definitely make us not think that you're so weird, but it's clearly gotten under his skin. And I don't know what accusation he's trying to make against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Why they're weird. He really hasn't given an example. We know that It's weird that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want to be in our doctor's offices, our living rooms, our bedrooms, that they want complete control over our lives. But why are Kamala Harris and Tim Walz weird? Because they want to invest in infrastructure. They want to make sure that kids in schools are fed. Does that make them weird? See you if you think so. Donald, it just makes you even weirder. And what was super strange on the subject of weird is how Donald Trump again, so caught up in his anger over the debate that he just couldn't stop talking about it. And we saw that right here.
Meanwhile, every time they interfered to fact check me, it turned out that they were wrong and Trump was right.
He really just can't get over it, can he? He just can't stop talking about the debate, and I don't know who on his team is advising him to do this. Maybe it's Laura Lomer, Donald Trump's new friend, and we're not going to get into that. We talked about it on a different video, but we don't need to cover that right now. But I don't know who's advising him to continue to talk about the debate, to continue to bringing up the most humiliating moment of this entire campaign. And you want to talk about it more. If I were him, I'd be running away from it as much as I possibly can. Like, he is running away from the idea of having another debate, but he's just continuing to embarrass himself by bringing it up. And speaking of Donald Trump embarrassing himself, he had a little bit of a Freudian slip, as we often see from Trump during these manic speeches that he rattles off. And this moment was especially funny considering the past couple of days. So let's check it out.
Because their job numbers were looking like, where the hell did all those jobs come from? You know where they came from? Somebody's sick brain, that's where they came from.
What this reminds me of, if y'all remember, remember when Mike Johnson went down to Mar-a-Lago and I don't even remember what Trump and Mike Johnson were talking about. But when he said, we have to prevent hardened criminals from coming into our country and pointed at Trump. Trump saying somebody is sick in the brain and pointing at himself, it's just too good. Again, I always say this. There's nothing worse that Donald Trump could do than open his mouth. Him and J.D. Vance both have the same condition. Whenever they speak, it instantly backfires on them. And so the fact that Trump doesn't want to do another debate makes a lot of sense. But gosh, boy, do I hope he does. Because more of this would just be so great. Because everything he says backfires just like this moment that I want to check out, that I was talking about earlier, of when the rambling really got so out of control and it was so far gone that even the MAGA crowd just was stunned into silence. You could see the people behind him looking around a little bit confused, and no one's laughing because it's just so ridiculous.
Hey, where's Harris? They know Kamala, they know Kambabla. That was the nickname I used for a while, but I don't use it anymore because everyone thought I was just mispronouncing her name. I wasn't. Kambabla. But no, comrade is...
I've talked about before, our friend of the show, Tim Miller, says that Donald Trump is clearly unable to message against Kamala Harris because he's on nickname number 4 for her. But what was Kambabla? Is that what he's trying to say? I don't understand this. I don't understand the Trump mispronouncing her name, pretending he doesn't know what it is. There was a period of about a week there when Kamala Harris first became the nominee, when Trump continued to say that no one knows what her name is. And do you think that makes you sound smart to say you don't know who the vice president is, but I don't know who he thinks this is winning votes with? I just think he's angry and aggrieved, and it continues to come out. We continue to see it, and especially right here.
How the hell did we allow this to happen to our country? Likewise, the New York Times, or as I call it, the failing New York Times. It's a failing paper. The Washington Post is a failing paper. Will you fail already? Just get out. They're such phonies. If the New York Times writes a story about you, just go the opposite. If you go the exact opposite, it'll be very accurate. The failing New York Times today reports this vicious Venezuela prison gang is, quote, it sneaked.
Oh, Yesh really couldn't speak there at the end. Really kind of lost that one, didn't we? Again, he's just such a mess. I said this at the beginning of the video. It's one of the more unhinged Trump speeches, and I think because so many things are culminating right now, it's that the debate was a disaster. And the debate was a disaster maybe because of Laura Lomer, her encouragement for Donald Trump to let all the wildest parts of himself out. And now there are more reports about Laura Loomer, which he's trying to cover up, and that backfires. And there's just too much going on for him to handle. And he just can't stop thinking about all of his grievances, which are building up. And that's incredibly clear right here.
She said thank you 38 times. And at the end it was thank you, thank you. I said, what's wrong with her? I say thank you and you wait a couple of seconds, you say thank you again. You say, come on, let's get going. Thank you one more time. She's 38 times. Thank you. There's something wrong with her, okay?
If you're wondering why he's talking about Kamala Harris's DNC speech, I'm going to do a little bit of Trump translation here. I think it's because during that speech, there was such thunderous applause that Kamala Harris couldn't even begin, and he's still so mad with her comments that she's made about Donald Trump's small crowd sizes that she had such a big and enthusiastic crowd. It's what's always on his mind and what he can't get over. It's again the reason why he is unraveling. Because Kamala Harris pushes his buttons so well, and he can't get past these grievances, and he's just unraveling. And we're going to continue to talk about that every single day on this show. And so, if you want to support what we're doing, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.